I could tell these were your words. What was confusing to me is that you said something was offensive. What was offensive?
Their response said they were offended. So I acknowledged their acknowledgement of offense. It wasn't me saying, it was an intentional offense. It's not what I was saying. It's not as if I was announcing, oh yeah, the last part, I meant that part.
Right.
That's not how that is supposed to be.
But you recognize unintentionally it was offensive.
It was. People were offended by my non-intentional offensive words.
Now you got my head spinning. I'm serious now. This is live TV, so I'm going to keep it real with you.
Yeah,
I am so confused.
Okay, please, let me help you.
Is there any regret is there any regret in the moment?
Lordy have mercy, Miss Kim. Now that this thing has died down, you're back? And I don't know why you keep trying, because I don't know if this interview with Tamron Hall made it better or worse. Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to try to make some sense out of this Kim Burrell interview with Tamron Hall, because I guess Miss Tamron Hall couldn't just leave this to the YouTube expert professionals like yours truly. I mean, I guess she had to get in here and try to get some of this action, because I guess she knew Sister Kim Burrell was going to say something to set the damn internet on fire again. So I ain't mad at you, Sister Tamron, because we all know that Miss Kim Burrell knows how to keep herself on this damn internet. And yes, you know I'm going to put my special analysis on this and try to put out this internet fire that Sister Tamron has started, resulting in Sister Kim Burrell clapping back on Sister Yolanda Adams. Now, I've already done my analysis on Sister Kim's latest remarks that broke the internet a few months ago, including remarks she made back in 2016 that some thought were offensive to the gay community. So, if you want to get caught up on all of that, please watch my prior video. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video by clicking the super thanks heart button below as well. And so, let's jump right in and take a peek at the first part of the Tamron Hall interview that I want to discuss. So let's take a look.
Kim Burrell is here to explain why she said what she said. Please welcome to the show, Pastor Kim Burrell.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. I know I can't imagine what it feels like to be under siege and apologize and then have to apologize again. And now we're still talking about it. But you wanted to come on and discuss this, all of it. I have to start with the summer. So let me set the stage for people who don't know. You were asked to come to this church in Charlotte, North Carolina to sing. But before the performance, you made a speech to the congregation. Social media, these were some of the comments, Kim. And this is why people don't go to church. There was no Jesus in this. How are you going to preach the word and put people down at the same time? That's not righteous.
All right. Now, the first problem I have with this interview is the thirsty, one-sided use of social media comments. And let me just say right off the bat that I do not condone Kim Burrell's remarks. I went back and watched it again, and you just can't make right out of wrong. But if you're going to invite someone to do an interview and you're going to show all of the thirsty clickbait comments posted all over the internet about that person, you should also show what people had to say that had a different perspective. Now, I posted a video a while ago about much worse remarks, in my opinion, that Kim Burrell made way before even, I believe, the 2016 remarks. And the comments that people posted to that video were mostly, at least 90%, in favor of Kim Burrell. So, let's take a look at those remarks that Kim Burrell made back then.
Young ladies, time to stand up and get you some money. Get you a job. Quit thinking you so wonderful with that dirty thong on, thinking some brother gonna come in your life and make you a princess and you ain't living a dime's worth of nothing. What makes you think, oh boy, gonna get a job to celebrate you and support you and you dirty? Don't even know how to wash good. Musty right now as we sit here. And you think, oh boy wants you in his life? Folk around you scared you gonna shout because of what they gonna smell. It's in the house, so we got to deal with it in the house. I'd rather us talk about it in the house than to get out on the street talking about we prophesying and laying hands on the sick and they shall recover. And as soon as you lift your hands, the wind blowing somebody's nose and they about to pass out because you must have a dog. Smell like you've been eating deviled eggs.
Now, these are the comments that people posted in response to that video on TikTok. And as you can see, most of them are in favor of Kim Burrell. And I find that she has a particular fan base who understands what she's saying. And so what comes across as outrageous to some is received as truth to people in a certain congregation. Now, the next thing that I want to discuss is the issue of the analogy. And so let's take a peek at the next part of the Tamron Hall interview that I want to discuss. So let's check it out.
How do you feel now?
How do I feel now?
Today.
I feel great. I feel the same way I felt that night. My intentions were pure. I was making an analogy. Actually, I was honoring the pastor about being there. And I was making an analogy about his personality. I just didn't word it to whereas they would understand it.
Were you riffing? Was that ad-libbed? Or did you know you were going to say that when you went on the...
So it was completely ad-libbed. Yeah, I didn't have a plan to talk to a certain thing. It was a form of encouragement is what it was to those who can hear in that way. There are some people who go, you telling people not to live in a trailer home? That's not what I said. I compared a trailer home to mansion living. It was metaphorically speaking.
And as you can see, she said she was making an analogy. But Lordy have mercy, Miss Kim. When you said it was encouragement, you lost me, boo. And now, even during my first analysis of this, I said that when you go back and take the whole thing in full context, you have to agree that everything Kim Burrell said was on message with the assignment that she had been given by the pastor of that church before he introduced her to the stage. And then while she was talking, he was egging her on to proceed even further. And that is what she did. She kept going further and further when she should have stopped 5 or 10 minutes prior. And while I can see the analogy, I didn't find any encouragement nowhere in it, Miss Kim. And so I'm going to go back and take another look so that you can tell me if you can see if you feel encouraged.
Well, I believe Kim Burrell is in the house, y'all. And we are excited to have her. I like people who are honest. She's honest like me. I just watch them shows where she say, people be wanting to know if they could sing. And she say, people always tell me I could sing. And then they come on there and sing. And she say, I want to let you know, people been lying to you. And so I'm just excited. But you need honest people in your life. We're grateful to the Lord for the gift of God that is here. She is genuine. She is honest. And she's just a gift to the body of Christ.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Isn't the Lord great? One of the greatest things about God, look at him. He's kept all of us alive to be together. Look at that. How many of y'all can say that you had some close calls? COVID tried to make it a little strange for you. Don't be ashamed. They ain't gonna move their seat. Yeah, COVID tried to come for me in 2020. I had 3 oxygen tanks at my house trying to get my lungs back to working, but I'm here. Hallelujah. Real quickly, I want to thank God for the man of God who God's going to continue to soar. Bad all by himself. And I thank God for all of you. Will you just take a moment and look around and tell 2 or 3, I thank God for you. You're thanking God for people who have helped to save other people's lives, who have paid some other people's bills, who have given some folks gas money in these high gas price days. Tell them, I thank God for you. I thank God for you. As you're standing, I also want to honor someone very special to me who came in the room that some of you probably noticed upon sight, who literally begged me, please, Ma, don't say nothing. He's cringing right now, you know, because he's so humble and loving. And he called me and he said, hey, we need to talk. I said, okay, get to talking. He said, no, we need to see each other. So I said, okay, fine. I jumped on the plane. We talked. He says, where you going? I'm going to Charlotte. Me too. Okay, so he says, and we're going to go together. I said, good. I have to sing. Good. We going to church. Good. I'm going there too. He's the one and only Tyrese Gibson. Give it up. I know, we'll fuss about it later. You know them 5 people? He's got 4 of those qualities. It's half the reason of why he's sitting there with me. You know, you can't trust a lot of people that's in church. Because some of them, I went quick with that, because a lot of people ain't going to say amen to that. Because a lot of them know I'm not the trusted, but we ain't going to answer that. I can't be trusted. We'll tell you a secret. Yeah, we'll know about it in the morning. And so there are some people who just, you can't trust them with anything because they don't have a life until you give them your business. Yeah. And then they make a life out of your business, and then you're mad when you gave them your life to make it their lives. All right. And okay. And so you have to choose wisely. That's why you got to choose up. Find you some value. You know, sometimes before we get friends, we have to do an interview. How long have you been broke? How many times have you changed your name on your light bill? How many of your bills in your little cousin's name? Do you live in a trailer home or a house? You know, you understand. And it's not about status or material things. It's just about choices.
Now, I played this part so you can see why she was on that train of thought. And if you go back and watch the whole thing, you'll see that she was talking about her appreciation for the pastor and how she considered him to be a real friend based on some core values. And although she didn't say it in an artful way, some of the things that she was saying that people didn't like was just her making the analogy by saying that when you're looking for these certain key values in a person that will qualify that person to be a real friend, then those key values are not going to be readily found in people who make certain choices that are indicative of people that you cannot trust. And so like all of the things like what she was saying about people applying for utilities using somebody else's identity when your utilities in your name have been cut off. And now, even with all of that being said, I still didn't find any encouragement nowhere in it. I mean, that thing about the pastors taking the PPP loans, that was not encouraging at all, Sister Kim. But anyway, y'all, let me stay focused. But some other people in this type of congregation, like that pastor of that church, might see all of that as encouragement. And so the next thing that I want to discuss is the issue of the apology. And so let's take a peek at the next part of the Tamron Hall interview that I want to discuss. So let's take a look.
Your first apology, and I'm paraphrasing, you said, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. And then you went on to say, those of you criticizing my statement are displaying the very thing that I've been accused of. And you went on to say that. But then after that apology, the first one, you came back with a second apology. So only you can explain to me what you meant by that. So the first apology, and I've been in the rooms where attorneys and PR people tell you what to say. We know that. You pay them to tell you what to say because they're supposed to know. I could tell these were your words. What was confusing to me is that you said something was offensive. What was offensive?
Their response said they were offended. So I acknowledged their acknowledgement of offense. It wasn't me saying it was an intentional offense. It's not what I was saying. It's not as if I was announcing, oh yeah, the last part, I meant that part.
Right.
That's not how that is supposed to be.
But you
conveyed.
recognize unintentionally it was offensive.
It was. People were offended by my non-intentional offensive words.
Now you got my head spinning. I'm serious now. This is live TV, so I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah,
I am so confused.
Okay, please let me help you.
Is there any regret in the is there any regret in the moment? Is there any regret to the words that were said that day on the pulpit?
For what it caused, yes.
For what it caused, which was pain to others.
Yes.
You're such a strong person, and I can tell you are like an oak tree. You're not trying to move, but you moved once and moved twice. You've apologized twice. Why did you keep apologizing?
And that's not usually what I do.
So why did you do it?
Because of the people I was representing, people I'm affiliated with, protecting their value. Their value says that they would have said they were sorry. And because I was affiliated with that, and because I was encouraged to do so, I was encouraged to say I was sorry because of how many people were complaining.
So listen, I don't know why she apologized. You can see Kim Burrell is not sorry. Okay, but this is where I can't agree with you, Miss Kim. Either you're sorry or you're not. I mean, but why bend yourself all around in a pretzel when you're not sorry? Because you believe in what you're saying, which was that you have to choose your friends wisely, i.e. people who you can trust or people who are honest, etc. And so the next thing that I want to discuss is the issue of the allegory. In other words, there are people who know how to interpret or allegorize this kind of talk, and as such, they are not offended by it. And so let's check it out.
What do you want people to understand, I think, about what you were trying to do? Because I know it was a riff. I know, and I've been in a Black Baptist church since day one of my life. I'm 52 years old. I know sometimes people don't understand our culture. They're not in the room, and you do have to, as they say, mansplain. Sometimes you have to blacksplain. I'm smart enough to know that. Many of the people who were hurt were Black people. Why do you think they were so hurt and not in on, if you will?
Because all Black people don't go to church.
Right.
All Black people are not from the type of church I'm from. Even the Baptists don't understand a lot of times what the charismatic other reformations.
But there were people in the church, as I understand, who were offended. So they were in the type of church.
I never knew that anybody in the church were offended. I didn't know that y'all got that news. The pastor and I spoke after I'd heard about it, and I asked him, were your people offended by what I said? Because the reaction of the room did not convey that, because we seemingly were all on the same page. But when you hand over a foreign language to a person, and I don't expect them to know it right off. As much as I love different cultures of food, I don't always understand their menu. So you have to have someone to interpret. So there was a great need for interpretation of my words to a lot of people, as you could plainly see. And thinking that I was being deliberate to hurt. Well, truth hurts. I was standing there preaching what I know is the truth. Maybe people don't like my passion. Maybe they don't like the way I deliver the truth and put me under this as if I'm some inhumane something because they don't agree with what I say. The word of the Lord is the truth. I have to stand on the truth no matter what. And I can be criticized for it. I can be so-called canceled for it.
And so, as you can see, Kim Burrell talks about this charismatic Christian denomination that I'll admit I don't know anything about it. And it seems that telling the truth, no matter how brutally honest it is a part of this religion. And when you go back and look at the people in the audience, most of those people were standing for large portions of the time that Kim Burrell was on the stage. And I'm just going to tell you, honey child, if I'm offended, I can guarantee you my heels are going to be kicked off under the pew in front of me, and I'm going to be sitting my ass down. You're not going to see me standing up. There was a large majority of people standing up. So that gives me the feeling that she felt in the moment like there was nobody, the large majority of people were not offended. They know her. They know how she comes to that church often. So I don't know who told Sister Tamron that the people who were in that church service were offended. And maybe there were, but I can't imagine there were many actual members of that church under that pastor that speaks his mind that will be as offended by Kim Burrell's remarks as someone who is not in that type of religion or that denomination. And so people like me who are not familiar with this religion would take this the wrong way. And so the next thing that I want to discuss is the issue of the Adams, i.e. Yolanda Adams. And so let's take a peek at the next part of the Tamron Hall interview that I want to discuss. Let's check it out.
For many, though, they pointed to an incident that happened before when her words came under fire. Kim, you talked about before the break affiliations with people, and we know that was it 2016? You received a lot of backlash for comments in a sermon at this point. People called it antagonizing and degrading. Essence Magazine referred to your sermon as a hypocritical, homophobic rant. Some said that you were playing victim with fake sanctity. Burrell and Ellen canceled you from an appearance. Frank Ocean's mom, Katanya, asked her son on Twitter if he could edit your voice out of his songs. Octavia Spencer, Questlove, Yolanda Adams, Janelle Monáe all condemned your remarks. Looking back now, that was 2016, and here we are 2022, and that's something that people immediately brought up. Did you expect that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It made too big of news.
You know, I'm already over on time, but if there is some perspective that you want, because I don't want you leaving here saying, I didn't get a chance to say, because people say that all the time.
Oh, I
so
hate
if you
that.
want to say more, it doesn't get more intimate than the Tam fail.
Okay. That's great. I say to that, the little bit more that I will share is some of the names that you called. I was far more disappointed than I was surprised that they had something negative to say. I was disappointed because we've all shared the same stage and back rooms and green rooms. And some of their public display and conversation is somewhat opposite of what it is behind stage. I'm not going to do to them what they did to me.
Oh, no, and
a lot of them went public and was talking that I am, though. I'm talking about their ability to be negative toward a name that they built up for so many years. And that's disheartening because especially when people can call you, I would have much preferred, especially dealing with gospel, Yolanda Adams, who we're both from Houston, Texas, to pick up the cell phone and say, hey, I have a career to save, and I can't agree with your stance right now. I need to say something different to my public. So I would have preferred that to call and say, we've been in the gospel game too long together, and this is negative. This looks really, really bad. So I'm not going to be able to affiliate with you. I would have respected it and said, hey, do what you got to do, but at least we have an understanding.
Well, I mean, and let me be clear here. Yolanda is a friend of mine as well.
Good.
I am also from Texas.
Oh, okay.
And I did not want to turn this into because I don't know what happened behind the scenes. What I was asking if you wanted more time for, you said there was more of a backstory to what you said on the pulpit, not the interpersonal relationships of two people that you're now here with me and another person I care about.
So now, if you go back and watch this full interview, you'll see that this was the second time that Tamron Hall asked Kim Burrell to share more details. And when she starts talking about your so-called friend, Sister Tamron, you want to try to stop her from talking? Girl, bye, Tamron, okay? I mean, Kim Burrell did not bring Yolanda Adams' name into the discussion. And so you asked Kim Burrell one time to share more details. She doesn't say a word about Yolanda Adams. And then you ask her again a second time to share more details. And she gives you what you asked for. So I just think you should be satisfied, Sister Tamron, because you asked for it. Now, as for Sister Yolanda Adams, and let me just stop right here and say that Open My Heart is one of my favorite gospel songs of all times. But Sister Yolanda, I have to agree with Sister Kim here. Either you're a friend or not. You could absolutely let a person know that you love them, but you have to partition off a space in your relationship with them because you can't agree with these remarks, and let them know in advance that if you're asked about it, you're going to say that, and that it might be in a public way. So that's my assessment of this whole mess. But as y'all know on here, I just ask and report, and I let you decide. So, what do you think about this interview? Are you on Team Kim Burrell, or are you on Team Yolanda Adams? Please let me know by leaving your comments in the comment section below. And I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video by clicking the super thanks heart button below. And while you're there, I want to also ask that you please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more hot tea drama. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.